from his pool.
When you go back to year 0, a lot of the Vietnamese junglers at the time made a name for themselves as some of the best Lee Sin play in the world. But when Team Flash, after banning the Singed, JDG look at the available champions to see, okay, what can we grab here? Karma is the first pick.
Karma, one of the most powerful champions in the pool right now, can be played either mid or support, though I do vastly prefer the support role, and will scale into the late game. If your Karma's online in the late game, she's going to make all your champions faster, have more HP, and if you built Art and Sensor, be significantly deadlier. So, incredibly powerful pick. Has been almost 100% pick ban at Icons.
Combining that power with the Kha'Zix, who can finish off targets once the initial burst from the Transcendent Embrace and the added Ziggs in Mega Inferno Bomb. It's already a powerful core that we have seen time and time again throughout Icons. Team Flash, on the other hand, they're going for scaling power for Zissou on the Jax, and it's already a departure away from what you would expect and want from Team Flash traditionally, unless they are going to use the Shen and Jace to invade.
That is the unless. The thing we have seen about Jax over the course of his tenure here at this tournament is, yeah, he's a late game scaling jungle. Absolutely. Zissou is not going to do real damage until the late game, at which point he's going to do real damage.
Yeah.
However, you can use Jax during the early game. This is how teams are accelerating Jax to that late game, by showing Jax in lanes, in jungle invades early, and using him as a stun bot. He can jump into the front lines, land big stuns, and then other members convert the kills, thus giving Jax an early gold injection, team fighting early around a late game scaling champion.
It's honestly a kind of recall to form of what we saw from Dakun Gaming back in Horizon Cup when Hueba on the international stage for the first time showed us, yeah, I got a Jax, but I'm still going to invade you, level 3.
Absolutely. So, the big challenge here is, do we see Zissou playing in that way? Do we see the Jax getting in early? And as you called out, they do have a critical tool to enable that, the Shen, kind of providing that massive shielding to anyone, anywhere on the map. With Shen Galio, this is the perfect composition for somebody like Team Flash who wants to play super aggressive. They have a double global ultimate. They can instantly have a 3v5 anywhere on the map because 2 additional members can jump in, join the team fight.
I like this. I talked to Mika about it before. Anytime I see 2 global ults on the stage, I call that the Avengers comp. Because as soon as someone's in trouble,
right, the portals start opening.
Boom!
The portals start opening.
The reinforcements come
starts
in.
playing.
That's right.
Whole team's there. One thing I will flag here is I don't much like Jace. I think Jace has really struggled. We saw some really bad Jace play yesterday.
It's hard.
It's hard. If Jace doesn't get an early gold lead and start snowballing, he does not do enough damage in the early and late game to be relevant. The only exception to that is if you are landing every single shock blast. If you are landing every single one of those large burst projectiles, then you have a lot of poke. And that certainly seems like the game plan as we bring in a Lux for some CC lockdown. And yes, Mark, another global ultimate. The Avengers are all here.
That's
that
right.
Lux will find damage anywhere on the map. Team Flash have drafted a composition that is going to start fighting early.
And it's all going to be pinned on Coyote and Zissou. They're the only ones that don't have global power, but they can bring the rest of the party with them. But on the flip side here...
Oh, the flip side?
JDG,
oh, okay.
They've got not only this Rakan coming into the support role and flexing that Karma into the mid lane.
Game number 1.
The sound of Garen's giant sword smacking Shy in the face. Oh, gotta love that.
I think, honestly, more characters need swords.
You know...
That's just a hot take for you to think about as we get into this.
You know, there's been other games where they added so many sword characters and people in the past were like, man, another
There's
character with
swords.
a sword.
Who are you?
Yeah.
More swords, please!
The duality of man. As we are 40 seconds so far.
Some people suck. Oh, some people look at swords and they're like, that's too many swords, and I don't want to know you.
You know, TJ, I wonder if you're jealous that Omo got the angry DM from someone on Twitter, and now you're trying to...
I'm trying to farm. If you're out there and you hate swords, send me a Twitter DM. I want to point at you and laugh.
With your sword.
With my sword.
There you go.
I actually do own 2 swords, but they are both fencing swords. They're not even sharp, and that's an embarrassment. I'm going to get on that.
TJ will get to work on his sword collection. As for Team Flash, the name of the game was getting these global powers unlocked and playing around Coyote and Zissou. But so far, JDG, they're the ones moving first on the map.
Yep, and this is frankly to be expected. JDG, as we talked about compositionally, do scale later into the game, right? They do have that Ziggs composition that's going to come online, so they're going to be pressing their buttons early. Team Flash don't have enough buttons to do anything yet. They need to hit level 5 across the board before they can start teleporting into lanes and casting laser beams that cover the entire map and crazy stuff like that.
And one of the ways that you can really damage a composition that is focused on global ultimates, you attack the champions that have globals.
Dude, Empty's up there in the top lane early because Team Flash knew JDG were going to look for an early shutdown onto the chef.
They were looking for the dive.
Yeah.
Lemon was trading aggressively in lane, getting shy below 50% HP, and you already saw that Doki had roamed up top, and TF was like, oh no, Shy's gonna die.
Yeah, and there's a super good rotate from Empty, and it's a very predictable presence from JDG, because Shen is really weak around the level 5 mark.
Yep.
They don't have enough damage or HP to really be a threat normally, and every other champion gets a really sick, cool ability at level 5, and Shen gets the ability to help out his friends. He gets the Vin Diesel, I'm gonna help my family, but... And that's not very good in lane fights. So it's really easy to bully Shen around the level 5 mark if you're a jungler and you want to know how to bully a Shen. Gank him at level 5. And Team Flash know that's about to happen, so Empty roams up, anticipates it, and completely cancels the play from JDG. Really cool stuff.
You know, that makes me realize there's something ironic about Shen. He can save others, but he can't save himself.
Ironic. The tragedy of Shen the Wise. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Team Flash playing defensive so far, but my alarm bells aren't ringing yet because they need all those globals online. Those globals are now online, so the play is all about enabling Zissou. And I want to see, preferably before first objectives come up, Zissou step up and try to force a fight in a lane. He was kind of shadowing that middle of the map, but I want to see him really get gold onto Coyote because Coyote is so much their early game damage.
And like we've seen before at Icons, if you don't get a Jace online early, at the most he's just a glorified split push bot. And you don't want that. You want a little bit more kick out of it.
Here we go!
Maybe
Never
not.
mind.
We've been baited. Oh, kaboom from Che! He gets first blood right onto Ellie, and now Team Flash looking for a counter response. But JoJo is holding him in place. Transcendent Embrace already taking out another. Xingdo does fall to Team Flash, and the Stand United from Shy giving them some much-needed assistance. MT trying to body block for Zissou, but the counter-strike does not give him enough space.
Oh!
But Ellie, right from the respawn fountain, is able to answer from downtown and finds one back.
3-2 positive trading for JDG in the first conflict of the game. A bad sign for Team Flash, but they did all right, and they got gold onto their key scaling carries. So, yet again, good sign for JDG, but my Team Flash alarm bells are not ringing. They tried to force the right kind of play here, and things went wrong. Namely, JoJo, in the middle of this fight, landing massive roots and forcing all this defensive spell casting out from Team Flash. They have to back away from that Karma to break her leash tethers. Team Flash take the right risks here, playing around Empty, but yet again, you see how much chaos is caused by the presence of that Karma in the fight.
I will say, even if the execution isn't what we're used to from Team Flash, I appreciate that they are making the right aggressive moves early on.
It's good to see. Our first objectives are now up, Mark. That Rift Herald going over to JDG. This Dragon, a matter of contest.
Xingdo is booking it over to the Dragon Pit. Can JDG stall enough time for the jungler to get here and stall time? They throw down the Rift Herald in the mid lane, so Team Flash are guaranteed to lose something, either this Dragon or the mid lane turret.
They got the Dragon!
Zissou secures it, and now Team Flash, can they walk out without losing any more members?
They already lost both Zissou and Ellie. Here comes the Rift Herald.
It crashes.
That's a turret as well over to JDG as they make away like bandits from this early trade. Massive gold gain, 2,000 lead currently, and some big shutdowns passed over.
The first brick being opened up, this is particularly in the mid lane as well, ensures that JDG will have access to the jungle quadrant. And we talked about how imperative it was for Zissou to be the one aggressively invading and taking camps away from Xingdo. It might just be the reverse.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it from Zissou. I liked that early attempt for a fight down in the Dragon lane, right? That was everything that we need from Zissou in the early game. But they didn't win that fight, and things have sort of been spiraling ever since because, Shen TP.
Taunt right onto Xingdo, and from downtown once again, Ellie.
Combo.
Final spark lands the mark.
That's all they needed. That's the dream play, right? You land the final spark across the map off the back of the Shen, TP, and then Taunt. Stands United the ultimate from Shy, sending him to the conflict zone, and then he dashes through, taunting and kind of stun-locking the target. Jindo can't move, and with perfect communication, you do need to cast the ultimate as the taunt is landing. It's not long enough for you to cast it after the taunt lands, but if you cast it right as it is landing, you can get the kill down. And this is just masterful. Coyote says, I'm so tasty. Come and take a bite out of me. I'm only at a quarter my HP. You can come get a kill on me. And it is all planned from the beginning. It's a trap!
Can Shy get out of this one, though? There's 4 people here, but thankfully there's reinforcements coming in for Team Flash. Can they negate this one? Mega Inferno Bomb gets a bunch of burst damage onto the front line. The back line is being held up here, though, by Xingdo. He's already found Ali, and Lux is gone, and the rest of Team Flash have to scramble. Zissou is playing around cooldowns right now. Counter-Strike negates some damage, and JDG are playing at a hand's distance.
All the cooldowns are down for Team Flash. JDG have played the waiting game. Now they can strike.
Doki looking for another grand entrance if he can line it up, but it doesn't look like JDG are quite in range for the tower.
They're waiting for the wave to crash here. They're going to keep harassing until they have minions to let them in. Oh, but Xingdo is out of position, and Team Flash are able to slip away into the darkness.
Can they get this turret down, though? JDG.
Absolutely. It's not even a question. If they want this turret, they'll get it. I suspect they're going to try and pass more gold onto Xingdo here. No, he's resetting. They don't want the turret. What do they want the timing for? JDG full reset there. Maybe this is just for Rift Herald? I think they could have gotten some damage onto the turret, but they turn it down
potentially
in exchange for the positioning around the Rift Herald.
JDG giving respect over to Team Flash. Perhaps they were respecting the global powers coming back up, as Stand United was available once again right before that tower crash. Team Flash thank their lucky stars that they don't face relentless pressure from JDG once again. But once we are looking at Zissou and Coyote to step up as we are closing out the mid-game pace.
And JDG have been so surgical in these team fights so far. You see the separation they're enforcing every fight between the front line and Ellie. Jindo, every single team fight, jumping onto Ellie and shutting them down as quickly as possible. That's going to continue. Team Flash need to be prepared to defend them, especially when you have a Galio on your team, when you have a Shen and a Jax on your team. You have enough CC tools to shut down Kha'Zix. I need to see them used.
Shy is split pushing on the bottom side of the map. Rift Herald has been started by JDG.
I don't think they can get in here. I think they're just going to take this trade, and they do. Shy getting gold, but that's not really the person you want getting farm for Team Flash. And so Team Flash will now have to defend the opposite side of this map with a Rift Herald coming in, 4v4.
Shy will be in position to assist with Stand United. Lemon won't be here if they go for it, but the Rift Herald's already made the crash. JDG have already gotten what they came for. Can Team Flash find a counter response? But they can't get in range.
Yeah, the final spark combo lands. JoJo's down to half HP, but they don't have enough damage to finish the kill or even really threaten the kill at this point. Coyote built Hullbreaker, so he's only really effective as a split-pushing aid. Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver. He's like a bruiser tank more than a real damage dealer. So all the damage on this team is coming from Ellie right now, because Zissou's not online yet. He's going to need the second, third item to really be a damage threat by himself. And Coyote's building in the opposite direction. And Ellie, like I said, their only real damage is under farm, behind in gold by about 1,000.
I think he's being forced to split components right now as well. Going for a Morellonomicon has to be the Grievous Wounds carrier, but it's not the same type of damage as if you were able to complete a Death Cap or even a Void Staff at this point in the game.
Yeah. No Death Cap. Rather disappointing for us. Archangel Staff completed by Show as well, so no Death Cap on either side of the board.
Yeah, but yeah, at least he's getting scaling ability power.
It's just a huge L for a Death Cap champ, you know?
No hats aboard.
JDG clean up the map they find. The Mountain Drake as well as the bottom turret, and I'm going to keep pushing here, leveraging what is now a several thousand gold, about 4,000 gold advantage. This is, at this point, their game to lose.
You know, you were talking to me before this match about how Doki is kind of a memer. Just proto-building in front of them. It's like, oh, what are you going to do about it?
Doki is the funniest support player in this tournament. It was Dejuo from Sengoku at the Horizon Cup.
It is only game 1, and we're not even halfway.
He's scaling in this series, dude.
Oh ho ho! Well, can Coyote scale in this one? He's got Stand United, and now they're trying to bring the rest of the party there. The signal has been lit. Empty comes in with the knockup, but now they're on the retreat. They no longer want to engage this fight. Good light binding from Ellie stops the fight in its tracks.
Bam!
Bam!
Mega Inferno Bomb closes out the fight. Yeah, Team Flash kind of blow everything there to get their players out, which is worthwhile because I think Zizou stole a blue buff, so dub. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Stole that blue buff.
You show him, Zizou.
That was what that entire fight was over. They used the Shen ulti and the Galio ulti, so they can't take any fights until those ultimates come back up. Of course, JDG did blow some resources as well, so it's not a loss or anything. Yeah, he does have the blue buff. He did steal that away. There's the aggression we're looking for, Mark.
It took 12 minutes, but we got a blue buff stolen
Got a
away.
blue buff.
Let's go.
Team Flash otherwise kind of being run on the map. You can see that gold lead hovering around 2,000 thanks to some very good work. But they're being pushed back behind these turrets.
Final Spark gets some damage down on a Lemon, but he's Garen. He pops the damage reduction ability, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'm chilling. I'm out of there.
He's half HP. Here's the thing about Garen. All that HP will be right back. Garen has one of the fastest regens in the game. I think literally the fastest now that Set has been nerfed a little bit. Previously it was a bit of a toss-up, but his regen is absurd. If you are playing Galio and you build any amount of HP, you can drift out of the fight and get all of your health back in a second.
One of my favorite things, TJ, is when the Baron spawns, and I like to see...
That's one of my favorite things, too.
We have so much in common. That's why we're a good casting duo, dude.
Yeah, dude, we just fist bumped.
Bam. But as I was saying,
right,
one of my favorite things about when Baron comes up, I like to see how teams react to it. Some teams will immediately start forcing plays around the Baron, daring the other team to come and face check, or they'll just treat it like it doesn't exist.
Team Flash playing a little bit more passive here, very aware of the Baron coming up, and kind of the response from both teams is Team Flash want to stall out this game, make it last longer. They don't want to go for like a climactic Baron fight until Zizou is doing real damage, until he's completed ideally his third item. He does have the Blade of the Rune King complete here, so it's a little bit better than it was. But they want him to be at least on 3 items, so they're kind of playing slow. But you'll notice JDG, the second they saw Zizou on the bottom side of the map, the entire team is there. Everyone's rotating down to the bottom side to try and pick up that kill, because if they kill Zizou, if they shut down the jungler, they get a free back.
Free Baron.
Ooh.
Shy's fine. He's tanky.
I like what you did with that word.
Oh, thank you. Shoutouts to my homeboy Alk Battery back at home.
Does he say that?
Yeah. No, there are times when we're playing games, it's like, it's free. You know, just a little rolling of the R's. Latino things, you know.
Sure. I don't know, but sure. I don't think anyone knows less about Latino things than me.
No, it's okay.
If you looked at me recently, right? Okay. Baron is up, and JDG are getting kind of antsy, trying to force a fight around it, trying to set up for it. Team Flash, aware of that and playing defensively, kind of denying the opportunity to force a fight, but the cross side to that is, of course, that every moment the Team Flash are hiding inside their base, for instance, they're not getting this far. They're going to lose minion waves worth of gold. So, he's completed Wit's End. I don't know if you've noticed.
Double attack
that third item.
Yep. Double attack speed item plus Divine Sunderer. You're bashing people in the head very fast, and for 10% of their max HP every Sheen proc.
So that makes the passive play make a little bit more sense. Team Flash knew that Zizou was pretty close to completing Wit's End, which he has now completed. So he's got a whole bunch of lifesteal. He's really scary in these fights. And here we go. We're going to have primary objective on the board in this Infernal Drake. Team Flash will be able to contest it. This will be kind of their one and only swing at team fighting their way out of this game. For the game, for game 1 in this series, here we go.
Oh, that's a huge knockup from Doki. Redemption comes in, gives a second win. Xingdo jumps into the backline. Transcendent Embrace, and Lemon with the dunk, silencing out Coyote. He's taken to low HP.
Xingdo got as well.
But they've answered back. Team Flash, this time around, they have the jungler advantage. And without Xingdo, they can't contest with the smite.
Wow, that team fight was run by Zizou. The composition works to perfection. Shy gets the Stand United onto his jungler, who just tears through the backline. First isolating Doki, then punishing Xingdo for trying to get a little bit too aggressive. They get the Infernal Drake, and they control the map with the Baron up.
turret taken out as well. Team Flash taking so much on the Rift off of one fight. If they can make a massive swing like this, momentum is back on their side.
Poke in here, final spark to try and get enough control of this Baron pit, but for now, Team Flash will want to retreat and spend the gold that they just earned. You can see the gold at the top of the screen is now, for the first time in this game, Team Flash led.
And look back at this fight, because at the beginning, JDG, they're the ones that engage, they're the ones that make the fight start.
Only watch Zissou. Put some blinders on. Watch how he plays this fight. He sees all the mobility spent by Doki, punishes him. That man has no spells, I can finish that kill. Jingdo gets a little frisky, Zissou stands on top of him, waits for the Zhonya's to end, gets another kill. In the meantime, the rest of the team is protecting Coyote. You see Ellie with some great shielding, Empty with some great taunts. The behavior I was asking for in previous fights is deployed. The carries are protected, and Zissou is now big enough to take care of himself.
And now if you're on JDG's side, you suddenly have to pay a lot of respect to Zissou. You can no longer leave him attendant in these future fights.
So, Team Flash now, with a brilliant team fight, demonstrating their understanding of the game, knowing when to strike, have the lead and an opportunity to take their game. It's all about the Baron fight now, creating enough control that they can start this Baron, force JDG to walk into them.
Team Flash have the vision advantage. It's a blanket of darkness from JDG's side. They don't see what is going on until Team Flash poke their heads out. Already getting some chip damage and forcing important spells off of JDG. Final spark doesn't quite land.
Dive in.
Doki, knock up into the backline. Mega Inferno Bomb is huge onto the backline. Shingdo jumps in, takes down already Empty, but Zissou, can he answer back? He's got the Stand United Shield. It is now a battle between the junglers. Zissou and Shingdo, who can carry harder? Who can get the reset? Shingdo finds 3. Zissou, can he clean up? It's a 2-on-3.
Coyote still alive, roaming into this fight with huge damage.
He's in. He dodges the knock-up here. Coyote's also in, goes gold, and Zissou doubling down on the stasis, but they're under tower, and they have to make their way out. You don't want to lose on this GA. Shingdo jumps in. Coyote answers back. Another stasis, but this time it's from Shingdo. GA is expended by Zissou. Jumps in one more time, but it's a flash. Quick fingers from Lemon, gets out safely.
You are kidding me. Team Flash so obviously have their builds at completion, could take these fights, but they don't quite have enough damage to finish any of those kills as JDG play perfect hot potato, cycling their low HP members through the front line, using Lemon as the beefcake that can keep their carries alive.
And it's one of those things that we saw from JDG, especially in their back-to-back series against Rolster Y when things were so critical during the group stage.
Check out the way that Coyote plays this fight. He was split pushing in the top lane the entire time. He roams into the fight and is a huge part of its stabilization. Zissou doing the damage. Coyote, as we touched on, not building for damage, building for HP, being a bruiser, a kind of tertiary tank in these fights. And you saw it there as he was able to draw some of the focus away from Zissou as they were tower diving 2v3.
Coyote recognizing his role in this part of the game. It's not about the damage anymore, it's about just being another body that Zissou can use to be able to get through the front line alongside as a dive buddy. Team Flash, once again, returning to the Baron, going for a similar play.
Check out JoJo's build path. Death cap, death cap, death cap, death cap!
He also has an Ardent Sensor as well,
Yep.
and I love this, that he's able to flex in getting a lot of ability power for the shields, but now also getting utility with the Ardent Sensor.
And the Ardent Sensor will add some extra damage, in particular to Lemon in these team fights. Watch out for how much weird amount of damage Lemon is doing. Ellie almost caught, protected by Empty.
Good flash as well. Transcendent Embrace locks him up though. Ellie, you don't have much room to work with. Your flash is already gone. Shingdo is on the backline. Huge knockup from Doki once again. But it's Coyote! Wait, he's here! He's unanswered! He's got it! Team Flash! And a flash takes away game 1.
You are kidding me! The split push in the top side, unanswered. He runs it twice. He gets a huge hug from Zissou as they take their first game off of their opponent's JDG.
The elated reactions from the Vietnamese squad shows you how important getting the first win.
Team fight over at that big Baron area. Look at this gold swing. And I want to recognize the fact that Team Flash saw Ziggs, Karma, lots of magic damage. Let's also itemize against that. We saw Moz, we saw Wit's End from the side of Zissou, basically making sure that they're kept alive on top of the shields, the magic shields. I love it. I love it. Stand United as well played a huge part in protecting these characters.
I very much like that point because sitting back in the back with Stuart multiple times now, we've seen some very weird builds by teams throughout Icons. This felt like the most thought through build path here by